start off from a very clean state. I do have 3 new members of parliament representing 3 different places of this country. And will they toe the party line tonight? There's so many questions with the politics from the last election to this election. So I do have Soi Member of Parliament, David Kiplagat. Karibu sana to the program.
Thank you.
I do have Jack Wamboka, Bumola MP, DAPK. Karibu sana. And the lady Fatuma Mohammed, Woman Rep, Migori County. Good to see you in person.
Good to see you too.
Lady, gentlemen, this is it. Let's start from where we should, and I think this should be easy to, sort of dismiss this. Who has the numbers in Parliament? It should be easy to dismiss this. Yeah. Let's start with Fatuma, please.
I believe Azimio has the numbers. Reason, and I hope anybody will speak after me who will claim to be having the numbers other than Azimio will not use the numbers that the speaker got out of the votes. When it comes to electing the speaker, it's a different story. There's somebody who will elect a speaker because of tribe, because he comes from my region, because I know him personally, and at that level, in most cases, people don't look at party as such. And that's why you find before we elected the speaker, both coalition called their people and tried to talk to their people that please, please, for this reason, elect our person. For this reason, we were given all the reasons why it should be so and so. Now, on that note, do not use that to claim that you have the numbers. Azimio has the numbers, and numbers are counted. Numbers are countable. Numbers are those people who came in, elected in that coalition. Simple like that. If that person decides to go and eat ugali at State House at night, do not count that number as yours. After all, they are done at night.
But what do you have the numbers if you can't use them?
It depends how you use them. I believe if we truly got the numbers, first of all, your numbers should speak for themselves. You should not insist to the extent of running to court for court to help you to understand that you have numbers. That already shows that you're not confident in these numbers that you have, and you're not even sure if you have the numbers. Azimio has not gone to any court because they believe they have the numbers, and it is true they have the numbers.
Okay. Jack, who has the numbers? It should be as easy as 1, 2, 3. Who has the numbers?
Azimio has numbers.
How?
Smart. The Constitution gives us a right to associate, okay? And therefore, it gives you opportunity to choose which side of the political coalition do you want to belong, way before election. And therefore, you choose. In this case, I want to be in Kenya Kwanza, or I want to be in Azimio. Then we go for elections. Then after elections, we have numbers. We have 163 elected, they had 155. It's as simple as that. Now, in between, if a member feels hungry, okay, and wants to satisfy, I mean, they're free to do that, but they can't change the law.
Okay, David. I suspect you have a different view to this.
Okay, maybe to set the record straight, Kenya Kwanza, we have the numbers, and we have shown it...
as a coalition or...
As a coalition.
Okay.
We have the numbers, and we have shown it practically. My colleagues are talking theoretical. We have shown it practically. Currently, we have over 220 members, when we include the independent candidates. So far,
including Fatuma in that?
No, please.
No, I think out of 12 yes. independent, we have 10. But maybe going to the what you had asked, it is very important that as we discuss, we also discuss as per our constitution. Our constitution, when you look at Article 38, the political rights, it is very clear that as a leader, as a Kenyan citizen, under the political rights, you have a right of choice, which cannot be taken away from you. And my colleagues are relying on statutes, that is the law, which is actually which is deemed when you are comparing with the constitution, and any law that violates the constitution is invalid and null and void to that extent. So the beauty we show them when we were electing the speaker. The speaker got 215 numbers in numbers, 215 members. and I can dare them. If they want to know who is the majority leader, I can dare them for a vote in parliament. And you will, no, I didn't interrupt you.
Let's give him a second to finish. Yes.
May I finish? So,
the horses. Yes.
The point I'm making is, our anchoring point is the Constitution. And if you look at Article 36 and freedom of association, Article 38, and the political rights, the right to make any choice, the right to join any political party at will, and you guys, you cannot force members to be in bed when they don't want to be in bed with you. It is very clear like that.
Smart.
Yeah. And maybe before I finish, what the Azimio should know is that the speaker belongs to our coalition, and he will be called upon to make a very important ruling. And I can tell you that ruling, as per the Constitution, it will show that we have the numbers. And I think you have had so many defeats. The faster you accept all these kind of defeats, the better for you guys.
I think you should not let him speak so long when he's doing something wrong.
It's a debate.
He's already speaking for the speaker.
Okay.
We have two of our colleagues on the opposite side. I'm alone.
No, I'm independent. Excuse me, I'm independent. I'm independent.
Double the time.
No, I'm independent.
Let me say this.
Jack first.
Let me say this, my brother. The same Constitution that gives you the right to associate, okay, is what gave you choices. 6 months to election.
Which part of the Constitution gives 6 months to election for the coalition?
That is a political parties act.
But that's an act, and I've told you any act that violates the Constitution.
Let this man, I want to.
There is no Constitution that has been violated here. First of all,
Jack is on the floor. Jack.
Okay.
Now, and please keep quiet. Okay, you are saying the Constitution gives you the right to belong politically. Agreed.
Yeah.
And it's because of such a right that the same Constitution, through Political Parties Act, okay, gives you a choice. 6 months to election to decide whether. No. Can I finish? No.
Hang on.
By the way, you cannot bully me. Now, just listen to me. To choose between party/coalition A or party/coalition B, which you did. Ali Robert did. We saw him signing. Nobody forced him. The PA guy did, my brother. Okay? Maendeleo Chap did. They signed. Okay? In between a marriage, they realize things are thick. You must follow the processes of getting. No. Just
you can divorce.
It's okay. You'll make your point.
Yes. You must follow the processes that lead to a dissolution of marriage, which is very clear in law. So after 3 months, after election, you give us notice. Give Azimio notice that, look, this marriage is not working. I want to end it. Okay?
Help me understand. This.
No. Just a minute, Smart.
Yeah.
Then after that, you have a right to leave. Then 2, you just made a very dangerous statement here, which I think, please, you should not demean the National Assembly. The Speaker belongs to the National Assembly. He is our Speaker as members of the. So whether he came from your side,
when you're the Speaker for Assembly in your
whether
area.
he came from your side, you
Don't try
cannot
to
make
practice
such a
it
dangerous
here.
statement here on the
You
floor.
see, he
by
has,
saying
he
the
has,
Speaker is
he has
ours.
said something that I think he needs to apologize to Kenyans. He has just said that the Speaker is theirs, and the Speaker is going to make a ruling that they are the majority. And I'm starting to wonder, are you talking about Honorable Speaker that I know, Wetangula? You are saying that he's going to make a ruling that you are telling us that this Speaker is yours. You will twist him the way you are. No. Let me speak fast. Let me speak fast. Don't explain, because what you're going to explain is absurd. When you are trying to say such a man is going to make a ruling on what? Because who will bring that motion to the floor? Why are you so worried that you've taken it to court and you're waiting for Speaker to make the same ruling? And I don't know what else you're doing, maybe even going to Muganga, you're even paying people. I mean, if you have the numbers, say cool, like, no, because you're doing so many things to prove to Kenyans that you have the numbers. Numbers don't lie. And don't put the example of 1 + 1 means 11, that can also mean 2. That is where you are. Remember, I'm independent. I speak independently. I am
But
not
you
Kenya.
seem to be aligned
Kwanza,
to-
I am not, but I am aligned to the
coalition,
right,
yeah.
to the right, to the law. I'm aligned to the things that are correct. I will not be aligned to anything that is wrong. That is why when you're saying you're majority, I know you're wrong. I'm independent, so I stand as opposition.
So, okay.
Maybe
is it correct?
Yeah, maybe I should put some of the issues my colleagues have raised that they are very dangerous allegations. First of all, we have not bought anyone. Any leader who has come to join our coalition has come from his free will, so he has not been intimidated. And the constitution I've said is very clear. I wish we guys we could be arguing on the constitution. I have quoted Article 38, which says that under political rights you have a right of choice to belong to any political party, and anytime you can exit or come back. Maybe I should put something.
It's not any time.
I should put something straight.
Use the constitution well. Not any time.
What we are arguing is the law, and that law you know very well. It was passed during the handshake era, and it was passed at night. And there is nothing that stops Parliament from changing any offending law to the constitution.
Remember, we also chose the speaker at night. Time does not matter here. It's doing the right thing.
I want to get some clarity on this, because we have many to discuss, and this is important, and we must get this.
Yes, here's the question.
Yes, here's the
correct something. My brother, we are on the national television. This is the second time you are making a very serious allegation. The first one, you said the speaker belongs to KK. Okay, now you are saying laws were hurriedly passed at night.
Yeah.
Any law that is passed by the Parliament, by the National Assembly, is the law of the National Assembly of Kenya.
But are they right? Because Parliament passed a law, Parliament can pass another law.
Yeah.
What's the problem
but
with that?
let him not say
But it has not
Parliament,
been brought.
the law was passed at night as if it was a wrong thing
And
to
you know
do.
what was happening? Okay, you guys, what we should do? What
You
should
know,
you,
time is
what
not
you
the
should
issue
rea-
here.
What you
The
should
issue is the
realize,
numbers.
what you should realize, I think you are very you are very uncomfortable at the state you are in now. But that state was delivered by the people of Kenya, so you should enjoy it. The same way you passed that law, nothing stops us from reversing that law that is offending the
And
constitution.
we will never say it is a Kenya Kwanza law.
And then something you are forgetting is that if you go to Chap, they went to court before even the elections that they are not in Azimio.
But the court said
the courts have not determined.
No, but listen.
May I finish?
Yeah.
Went to court.
That's not true.
And it has not been determined.
Why are they going to court?
UDM, which
No,
has
Why are they going to
hang on, ladies and gentlemen. I think I remember Chap going to court, and the court determined that they should follow the law.
Yes.
That is the
And let me tell you, you are not supposed to run to court. There are avenues.
So hang on.
First, join the path. Let
Okay.
me explain this to my friend here, who is so excited that he's in the government. And I tell you, count the days. You might end up being in the opposition if you act this way, where you make the speaker your household. This speaker belongs to the National Assembly. He belongs to Kenyans. Anything that will be passed there will not be speaker and his friends. It will be the speaker for all of us. He is my speaker as much as your speaker. But just on this one of going to court, the question is this, this is what is supposed to happen. You join this coalition at will. No money was paid to anybody. Then you feel that you want to leave. Just wait, hang on. You feel that you want to leave. When you are joining the coalition, there were rules here. You were told when you join, after 90 days, you feel uncomfortable, you can write.
They have consistently
the avenues.
said,
No,
they've said they did not know these rules.
No, that is a lie. These are people. Imagine the person who is saying that he did not know this rule is a speaker of the Senate, saying that he signed something that he did not know.
He's repeated it today.
And then I'm telling you, it is being unfaithful to your words. You cannot, even a small child cannot put a tick to a fruit that he does not understand if it's an apple or an orange. And this man that you elected, that belongs to Kenya Kwanza as per se now, is a whole speaker of a Senate. He amended his signature to a document that he says he did not see, Mara, he did not read it. I think that is not right at all. Let me tell you, I'm saying.
Smart, let me say something. It is honorable for any of these leaders, I mean, at the least to say I changed my mind. But don't say, I did not read, I did not know.
But the Constitution says you can change your mind anytime.
Let's have a debate. Why can't you listen? Just listen.
The excitement cannot let him
you
listen.
See, Honorable Jaffa Kingi, the Speaker, has been a member of Parliament for quite some time. He's been a lawmaker. My good friend Robert, he's been in this thing. Okay? So just be honorable to say, in between, I've changed my mind. That would make some sense.
May I ask you?
But don't, no, let me finish. Let me finish, then you ask. But don't make Kenyans fools by saying, I did not read. Then you don't even deserve to be where you are.
But hang on, okay, so I have a question for both of you, this thing. If the members of UDM, PA, Mandela Chap feel that they no longer feel they can vote with Azimio and they've moved to Kenya Kwanza, what is the mistake in that?
There is no mistake. It's the avenues that they're following. Remember, a carrot is being dangled. It's after election, and people have lost. And now the carrot is here. And you can imagine that carrot is beautiful. I hear at Karen, when you take that picture at the door, I tell you, by the time you leave, you're smiling all the way home.
I think we should also visit, eh?
Now that carrot, never. You see, in politics, you have two choices. Betray your country or betray your electorates. I've decided not to do either. Now, you are betraying the country, you are betraying your electorates. By buying people, you're even betraying other people's electorates.
You are making...
Can I respond?
It is obvious. So the thing is, let me answer that.
To make very serious
I've not called anyone's name, so don't be jittery. I've not called anyone's name, so don't be jittery. But I'm a politician, and so you are.
But you cannot make allegations that you cannot substantiate.
I can.
Let
me answer what he asked. Kindly let me answer what he asked.
Can you withdraw?
No, I will not. I am sorry. It remains my words. And as I told you, I will not betray my country, neither will I betray
making allegations that leaders are...
It is not allegations, it is the truth, and everybody knows, my dear, read the newspapers. Anyway, back to what you asked. There's no problem with anybody who wants to leave. Just like if you want to leave a marriage, there are rules here. When you joined, you are told, and you know the rules here, that 90 days after elections, you can now write and say, I feel I want to leave because of A, B, C, D. There are avenues. The tribunal, just wait. It's okay. There's a tribunal. You go to the tribunal, use the tribunal. You find the tribunal is still not working for you. Now go to court. But this is an instant where you are told, you must go to court and withdraw. Why are you pushing them? Even them as they are being pushed so much.
I'll come to you. Hang on. I need to go to you. I need to go to you. The question of these numbers. Again, I've heard consistently that Kenya Kwanza say you have a post-election agreement with this, with these parties. Exactly, but they had a pre-election agreement.
Okay, I think the point is, which is the latest agreement? The latest agreement is the one. No, now may I answer?
Yes, please answer my question. Between the pre-election and the post-election. Hang on. Pre-election and the post-election.
Post-election.
Yes, post-election. Yes. Yeah. The one with, for all these parties that are in contestation, it's post-election with Kenya Kwanza. Yeah. They have a pre-election agreement with Azimio, right? Yeah. So how do you unbundle the two?
We need to ask ourselves. We have a member of parliament elected on PA, for example, or elected on Chap. If you ask him or her to make a choice, he has told you clearly, now he belongs to Kenya Kwanza. What is the problem?
The problem is betrayal.
What is the problem?
He needs to understand one aspect.
I've not finished. I've not finished.
But I've
not finished. I've just said, what is the problem with that?
No, we'll answer you.
Hang on.
You guys, I've left you talking, and then you just leave us.
You posed a question, and I thought you wanted us to answer.
So what I was saying is we have a leader who has been elected. Their party, like now UDM, with 7 members. The party leader has said he belongs to Kenya Kwanza, and we have a post-election agreement that is already signed. He has left you guys. Why don't you leave them in peace so that they make those choices as per our constitution, which is enshrined in Article 38?
Correct. Okay. Can I say
something? And then, if that law, maybe to finish, if the law you are quoting and relying on is the one that is making a lot of arguments, we can change the law. The same way you put the law, we can change the law. What is the problem?
Oh my God, Kenya Kwanza, this is not a tissue paper, this is law.
Listen to me, let me also speak.
Okay, make your point before I go for a break.
It is, my brother, it is very dangerous to have that attitude. If you did this, we can do this. We have a country called Kenya, and we all belong in this country. So I think we make these laws for future. We don't make them for today.
But not forcing somebody in a marriage.
Hang on.
As to whether these people have a right to leave or not, absolutely. You choose where you want to be.
Yeah.
okay? But let them wind up, okay? The earlier marriage. By the way, you can take everybody beyond that. You can even want to even buy the whole of ODM and have it, or take them. That's not a problem. Issue, but just follow law. Okay.
There's no big issue.
Nobody's forcing. Nobody's forcing anyone to stay. Okay. But what we are saying, it will be very, very dangerous. Okay. Kenya, by definition, is a multi-party state, and at this rate, how you want to move that direction, we can change laws at night because you did. We can have these members because of, at the end of the day, we will have nobody to speak to check this government. We'll have nobody to oversight. So the ideal situation, Smart, should be you had a choice to choose between party X and Y. You did. After elections, please stay where your people gave you a mandate.
But you are contradicting yourself now. You
but you know, there's an aspect that I want him to understand. He feels, I will remind you again, I'm independent. But there's an aspect that needs to be put clear. When, I think it's called UDM, that the ones that were read,
but
they joined Kwanzaa.
Everything
just wait,
to Azimio.
It's okay. I have a choice, just as you said. But I stand with what is right for my people, for my country. That's another story. But the story is this. UDM, they chose Azimio. They chose the presidential candidate for Azimio. Why?
Manifesto.
Other than manifesto, just wait, this is politics. This is politics. Yeah, and this is the conmanship I'm talking about. Just listen. Why did you choose Azimio and Raila at that time? Because when you stand and say, Mimi natafuta kiti ya women rep, na Raila, then you get the sympathy votes, oh, ni mtu wa Raila. That is what they did. They knew if they would sell any other candidate other than Raila in their area, they would not be voted. Now they've been voted, now they have their seats, now they're betraying. And we are telling you, you chose there, stay there. Me, I'm independent.
Smart. But let them follow the law.
Stop buying
them follow the law.
But let us get let us get something clear. Are you saying we follow the law, or you are saying they need to stay there forever?
But you see, it is the law. We used the law to join.
If we are following the law, first of all, we shall follow the Constitution.
And I can guarantee you that if a by-election is called today, they are all going home because those people voted them knowing the coalition they belonged to.
The only election that will be held in 2017 is 2020.
No, I'm giving an example.
All right, Fatuma Mohammed, David Kiplagat, Jack Kwamboka. Yes, we debate with rules. Yeah. And the rules that we must listen to each other before we debate. With all due respect, we take a short break. When we come back, we'll have plenty more of this.
Let's get straight to it. Ready for whatever. We gon' ride. Line them up. Let's go toe to toe. Tell them pick a side. Put in work. We don't play no games. Watch him run in high. Savage mode. We gon' keep it G. Yeah, you know. Dave, this line is not going down, and you're burning up. But I'll sort you out, my friend. See that barrier? Go for it. Yeah.
Bing bang bing. Bam, bam.
Is the shore for the nywele.
It's hanikwa. The S silent. Hebu tumado kwa hitio. Himbalas. Imekuwa ikiniembalas. Na unasendaje na niko kwa hii network ingine?
Baby, sinatuma na Airtel money. What is money?
Make payments to any buy goods and pay bill. Deal ni deal. Dial *334# to activate Airtel money.
Hebu tuma za lashes. Unajua mimi na poverty. Tume social distance.
Airtel, the most affordable network.
Lakini mtoto anafikiria gaji. Pia anajua kweli.
We're not in a position to handle anything else right now.
Unasahau ndo unafanya naweka food kwa hii meza.
Haya, nani alikwambia tunasikia njaa?
Hey, unisponsor mgani amefanya mambo jo?
Jude Mwageto hawezi pata job asa kedoa ninwe gari mpaka ikuwe sponsor. Oh my goodness, sir.
Hello. Hapa sikubali kuingiza mtu bila.
Nimempigia simu ashiki. Sinisha kwambia mimi ni mama yake. Sasa nini tunasumbuana?
Your individual title is ready. We are now processing title deeds for phase 2 just next to the famous proposed biggest family entertainment center, the GMC, directly opposite this Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate, Alpajeta.
The Nation Media Group Seeds of Gold Farm Clinic is back, bigger and better, on 24th September 2022 at Kalro, Mwea in Kirinyaga County. We engage farmers on adopting effective technologies to improve production. Join us for an interactive session and training on rice farming, farm management, farm mechanization, and much more. For details and to exhibit, contact 0721 353566 or email wamukati@ke.nationmedia.com.
Magic.
All right, with all due respect, welcome back. We are discussing questions that Parliament will have to deal with, important questions. And the first that they have to deal with is get off the hook is the majority and the minority and the leadership question. And there's consequences for that. There is the legislative agenda and who controls this house. So it's not just a question of numbers, but it means something, right? Studio with me, I do have David Kiplagat, MP Soi. Yeah. I do have Wanami Wamboka, MP Bumula, and Fatuma, full network, Mohammed. You said, Woman Rep Migori. Independent. That's what is on her ticket. However, she argues tonight is entirely upon her. Ladies and gentlemen, away from these numbers thing, as we just take it forward, the idea that Kenya Kwanza controls the legislature is important because there is a big manifesto called the plan that the Kenya Kwanza needs to pass, right? So, Azimio as the minority, you've already lost the executive. Why would Azimio essentially be running the legislative agenda as majority? How does that work? Jack?
Smart. For me, the legislative agenda should be about the people's needs. And some of them are current, and some of them are future. Because for me, what is important is not whether you are Azimio, whether you are Kenya Kwanza. Kenyans are suffering. And as such, we must legislate immediately. How do we cushion our people? That agenda does not fall on either Kenya Kwanza but the people of Kenya. So moving forward, Kenya Kwanza have got the government, and they had a lot of things, some of them very good, in their manifesto. So we are hoping, as now we start rolling out as a government, and in this case, government is 3 arms of government, because I've heard some people saying, "Oh, I'm joining government," and you find a whole MP saying, "I'm joining government," and they don't realize MPs are government. So as a government, we will support Kenya Kwanza, because now they're in charge, to roll out legislative agenda that favors common mwananchi and create a conducive atmosphere for economic growth. Because the truth is that where Kenya sits now is not a good place. And if we get it wrong, then we will go deeper and deeper and deeper. So let's support where I come from. I come from a school of thought where I believe we will support the government to roll out that which is good that affects mwananchi. The Hustlers Fund, I'm waiting for my people. I come from an agricultural region, okay, Western Kenya. When you talk of fertilizer, like what the president did, order, I don't know, that is also a controversial issue. Which powers he used to order government to pay the fertilizer? But it's a good thing, as long as the distribution and all that. We look at aspects of sustainability. How are we going to sustain this? And in the long run, how are we going to ensure that Kenyans are out of these problems of hunger, these problems of hunger? Two, you see, oil, petroleum, plays a very key role in the economy. It is now very high. The president said the other day that he's not going to, he no longer believes in to subsidize some of these commodities. So we are keen and we are watching how the future looks like for this country, because whichever way you look at, he told us 100 days fuel, 100 days hunger, 100 days. So as opposition, we will create a conducive atmosphere, support the legislative agenda that favors the common mwananchi so that they are achieved.
Okay. David, the question of how does Kenya Kwanza intend to run the legislature is central to all these numbers games and all these movements. How do you intend to do this?
Thank you very much. I think first may I appreciate my colleague. At least he has appreciated that he is in opposition. He is not in the majority on the government side. Secondly, I think the issue of who has the numbers is not debatable. We have exercised it and we are going to exercise it going forward. Going forward, I think we are in government. And when we are in government, we have a manifesto that we were elected on. And part of that manifesto, most of the policies and the laws are going to be passed by Parliament. So Parliament is very crucial to the delivery of our manifesto as Kenya Kwanza. The first thing that we believe in that it is going to make a change is the Hustlers Fund. And if there is something that gave us the votes is the Hustlers Fund, is the Hustlers and the bottom up. So what we are going to ensure that is we shall bring policies and laws to be passed that is going to support the Hustlers Fund to the tune of 50 billion, and we shall also create the Ministry of Cooperative and SMEs to manage that. And in terms of portfolio, every constituency will get up to around 130 million. So that the mama mbogas, the border, and the small SMEs can be able to access the credit facility, which is very important. As you realize, in Kenya, credit is very expensive, unlike developed world. It is going to the tune of 15% when you go to the bank, and when you go to the Shylocks, it can even go to 30% per month. So this one will provide an avenue where those people in the bottom of the pyramid can be able to access the credit. I think that's very key. On the issue of subsidy, it is very important that we look at the macroeconomic aspect of the country. Right now we are in red. We cannot afford. We are in a country whereby we are paying around 1.4 trillion in terms of debt, and we are collecting around 2.0 trillion. That implies that we are only remaining with 600 billion to manage. The counties, they are going to with around 370 billion. So you can see we don't have money, and for that we have to tighten our belt. We have to do away with all these subsidies in terms of fuel, and the most fun one, the one that was introduced for purpose of Azimio to get votes, that's the unga. And I can tell you, Smart, nobody in our villages got unga for 100 shillings. Where that 7 billion disappeared to, they will tell us. And I hope Parliament open soon, so that that is a question that we need to be told. These 7 billion, they went to subsidize what? So we are going to do it away with the subsidies so that we can support the production. And when we started the issue of the fertilizer subsidy, it is to support the production so that we can reduce the cost of production and increase the output, and so that technically what usually happens in a very good perfect economy is that it has to balance itself. The demand and supply has to balance yourself. But when you go to a country, when you start economies where you subsidize up to unga, up to oil, it becomes very untenable.
Okay, point. Hang on. Again, the question of legislative agenda, and just move on this. Azimio already lost the executive. Why would Azimio want to control the legislative agenda? Your manifesto, in essence, is not the one that is carrying the day.
First, I want to remind you again, I'm independent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're talking of Azimio,
But you've been supporting, you know.
No, I support what is right.
Okay.
And if Kenya Kwanza brings something that is right, I will support it. As long as it is not right, I will not support it, by conscience and by law. So as per now, by my conscience and by law, I know they are the majority.
So
and I support
okay,
that.
Fine. So
now, when it comes to legislation, regardless of Kenya Kwanza or Azimio, we have a mandate, we have a duty here. We were elected, and our responsibility and duties is to represent what our constituents told us is right for them. We bring it to Bunge and we pass it. Me as independent, automatically from day one, I have been in opposition. I will remain in opposition for the rest of these 5 years. Maybe if next time I find myself in the government, in the right way. But for now, our mandate, all of us here, is first to represent the views and aspirations of our constituents. Then us, Azimio, has ended up not being in the government, so they will have to check what Kenya Kwanza is doing. And in support, I will also check because I'm not in the government. And in that regard, we expect Kenya Kwanza to keep to their words. He has just said that he never bought unga for 100 bob. Do not look for excuses. It happened, you're in the government, you said you will lower the price. Bring it to 50 bob. They say they brought it to 100 bob, but you didn't see it. You bring it to 50 bob and let people see it, or whatever price that you promised, because you said bottom up. So bottom it up. And don't live on the past, because you're going to waste Kenya's times still telling us what the past regime did. You were elected by those who elected you. Move forward and don't move backward. So I believe, I expect you, all those things that you promised Kenyans, whether in 100 days, and please keep to the 100 days, because Kenyans are watching. And we are here to question you. The day we get it, I will remind you every day, because we are in the same bunge with you. I will be reminding you that, tell your boss, it is 99 days, 0.9, and the 100, I will be at your door. Here, did you provide? No. Do not look for the 101 telling me that you found a government that is broke. You went into this government knowing what is there. And there's no government that is rich, including US, it has debts. So do not sit on we have debts. Everybody has debts. Only heaven that there's no debt. So please, with the debts that are there, pay the debts, improve our lives, and stop looking for excuses.
Let me say something. Let me say something smarter. Maybe we need to ask ourselves, what is the role of subsidies in an economy? Okay? And then, my brother, I want you to understand that a government has a responsibility, okay, to cushion the citizenry against hard situations like what we are experiencing or what we are just about to experience.
Okay, maybe.
Can I just finish?
But you have a right to.
You may realize in a few days to come that you actually may need these subsidies, because fuel is going to skyrocket. It's going to go way high. Exactly. And the point I'm coming to.
No, the fuel point is this. The fuel right now, I think, was 12 billion a month. That was unsustainable. Yeah, and IMF actually said that we cannot sustain this because we're taking loan to pay for the subsidies. Yeah. So how do you subsidize an economy that does not work?
The space I am in, I'm imagining how they're going. What you're saying is right. I want to imagine how they're going to operate with the palm price going to 400. Kenyans are striking left, right, center, and you're saying, no, we have a principle that we're not going to subsidize.
No, maybe
I agree with you. Two, my brother, time for excuses is over. We were told economy is doing badly because of the handshake.
Are we given an excuse?
We were told economy is doing badly because of
I think we were just explaining our policy.
Now, have come up with proper policies in the short term. Okay, now as government, I'm talking as government, tell us in the short term, this is what we want to do to help the people of Kenya. And we will support you. If it goes to the common good, we will. Tell us in the future, in the long run, in the long term, this is what we have for our people. Okay. And we will support and also keep you to check to ensure that you are doing the right things to the people. Those that we agree with, we support. That which we don't agree with, you will meet the full force of opposition.
And I need you to respond to those two points.
Maybe first is just to inform Mheshimiwa is the other name for majority leader is the leader of government business, and you have actually accepted that we are in government. So I think that is not debatable. Just on a lighter note.
You're really rubbing it in. They've
accepted. So much in his head.
I need to correct you. They are in government insofar as the presidential and the executive.
I see.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
being
great.
in government, you formed government as Kenya Kwanza. So insofar as the executive arm of government is concerned,
I was just giving a definition of.
You know, when I look at this honorable member, then it reminds me of the KANU days. The mentality has brought is of the KANU days that you reminded every day that you are in the you keep on having this thing. It will make you not perform.
I've never joined KANU in my life.
No, but I'm saying you are reminding me of the KANU days. So I'm requesting you to behave like Kenya Kwanza.
Okay, let's allow David to make his point.
First, is what I want to say is that we are not giving excuses. It is the state we are in. And the state we are in, we are just telling Kenyans that we have to change this economic policy. We cannot, even economically, when you go to the broad view on economics, is that subsidies are meant to be very short term. It cannot be sustained in the long term. And we have had these subsidies, and it was actually driven by the political environment of the campaign. And you could see this as a meal, they could go to any length, including giving unga that never arrived and the money disappeared. So we are past that. Now we have to develop our country. The situation we are in, the debts is astronomical. It has gone very high. Right now we are in 8.5 trillion. The repayment alone, I've told you, is unsustainable. So there is no way we can sustain the fuel subsidy, for sure. There is no way we can sustain consumer subsidies. We can only sustain the production, because when we support production, it lowers the cost of living, and that is our economic policy going forward. And we are not going to give excuses. What we are saying, what we are telling Kenyans straight on the face is that we need to tighten our belts. This is the situation we are in. We have dug a hole, and we cannot continue digging that hole. We have to come out of it, and the only way to come out of it is to do away with subsidies and let the market balance itself.
Okay, so I mean, we have transition.
A small.
You're going to take 30 seconds.
No, yeah, 30 seconds. You're talking about debts. We've had deputy president, now the president, taking credit for very huge projects that were courtesy of borrowing. Okay? So you've been part of creation of debts.
But 70% of the debts was accumulated during the handshake time.
Don't talk as
70%.
As if you're coming from the moon and now you're on Earth. Okay? As you explain to us what you're going to do, your agenda, we agree with you. But just know that, one, you're part of this government that has just gone out. Two,
what
Kenyans need is a conducive economic.
You harassed us for 5 years, then we are part
of this debt started in 2013. They were in that government. I mean, William Ruto was in that government of 2013. He was in the same government of 2017. He claims he was there halfway. But you were there. So take credit as you take blame.
I've had numerous discussion on this table about the debt.
But for the record,
hang on. Yes, we'll never get to the debt. We don't have the time. Yeah. But here's the thing. The last parliament, and this will be the last point before we vote, because we'll never agree on this, I've realized. The last parliament failed to hold the executive to account. The 11th parliament, 12th parliament. That member of parliaments were doing the bidding of the executive. Will this be any different? Let me start with you.
Start with me, because as I confirmed to you that I am independent, so I confirm again that I am opposition. Right from the start.
How do you
so
intend to
I
hold
can
government?
confirm to you. The reason why sometimes you find these things don't work, the check is not done well, is because, when Kenya ended up in handshake, then it became so difficult for handshake to blame each other, because they wanted the country.
When you are independent, you are not opposition.
Listen, I'm independent. No. I am not in the government. Excuse me. I know where I am.
No, I was just
you know where you are as Kenya Kwanza. And I'm telling you I'm in opposition and you will not be. You see, this is how you start approaching. I confirm to you that I will remain on this seat as opposition, as independent. And my intention is, my intention is to check and balance what you're doing. And so don't be scared. I can confirm to you I'm very mouthy and my eyes are very big. So I will be following you, tell your boss. So the question was, why was this not happening? I think there was a mix-up. And Kenyans ended up not knowing whether, is it government, is it handshake, is it opposition? So we lost it there.
Who's failure?
And I'm telling you, if you want to sit on the failures, we will not progress. We are here today. We are here today. We are here today. Azimio, by some reasons, they are in opposition. Whether they're majority or minority, they end up being majority in opposition or minority in opposition, but they are in the opposition. So they will check. Here I am independent, and I don't know, others have been bought by you, I believe. No, they are on your side. Because there was no pact. How did they end up bedding with you?
I get it.
How? But I can confirm to you that in this government, first of all, there are very many young people who have come in. As you look here, we are young people, all of us. We are all first-timers here, and many more are in parliament. Many more women have come to parliament than the previous parliament. This guarantees somehow that at least we are going to check on this government on what they do. Unfortunately or fortunately, the promises they made were during the day. Implementation is also during the day. So we are going to follow word by word. You said 100 days, as I said it before. 99.9 day, we are reminding you. 100 day, it is not going to happen like the laptop story, where it just went and it died. And the person who promised the laptop is the person who has promised 100 days. I confirm to you, this one is war for wananchi. We are going to check and make sure. It doesn't matter when you make promises.
Okay. Excuses, you made the point. Okay, let me allow. The question, the second.
Twofold.
How will you oversight this government? That is the question before we get to mix it up.
The first thing, I want to appeal to President Ruto that please respect democracy by not buying opposition people into government. It is wrong whether by Uhuru or whether by Ruto or whether by Raila or whether by anybody. Because we must respect our democracy. And we've come from very far. Smart. Two, I also expect, and looking at the crop of MPs, most of them that we have now, we have interacted at Safari Park. I think it's a serious lot. I don't expect most of them, of course, some of them who are already going like this, but I don't expect a serious leader, okay, to be singing Nyayo, Nyayo, Nyayo. No. We intend to support policies from government that are geared towards helping the common mwananchi. We expect to say no. We shall do it. To those policies that we think you're coming up with policies that are going to hurt the growth of the economy, the common mwananchi, the same hustlers you talked about. It's now our turn to stand with them and say we shall stand with them. And smart, we shall oversight. I speak on my behalf as a Bumola legislator. I think I'll do my people a great honor. I'll be a disciplined, an MP of honor to my people. So expect me to oversight, expect me to say no when you go against my people, expect me to say no when Mumias, Zohia, Pan Paper, they're not coming up. Expect us to say no. Expect us to say no when this fertilizer you've brought does not reach Bomula. Expect us to fight.
This parliament, it's a bicameral parliament, and the effect of that is that even you, having been a member of UDA, you're all supposed to oversight the executive. How are you going to do that?
Okay, maybe
he can't. Surely he can.
But
hang on.
It is
the man has the time to speak.
He can.
So maybe first of all, I agree. This is the only time we are agreeing with our colleagues that they need to play their role as to oversight government.
As
and
parliament.
as opposition.
As legislature.
So what we are going to do is that for every policies that the government is going to come up with, we are going to look at it critically and to look at the beneficial effect on Kenyans. And if we realize that it is going to benefit Kenyans, then we are going to pass it. And when we realize that it is not going to benefit Kenyans, then at that time we are going to say, okay, excuse me, let us reverse it, let us change here and here, so that we can have those policies that is going to make the life of Kenyans being beautiful, and they are able to live in an environment that is of decorum. And you realize what we want to bring up. There is the issue of housing, and we are going to put up around 500,000 houses per year.
But my brother here,
now,
it is not time for campaign. It is time for implementation. It is, now you don't say
okay.
we are. Now we are doing. It's no longer we are going to.
You've added something else.
Let me tell him something also. My brother, I would like to remind him something. The fact that you are a member of parliament does not mean you don't oversight that government.
What is wrong with houses?
Your work is to do oversight.
What is wrong with
houses?
Maybe just 1 minute. 1 minute.
10 seconds. I don't have a minute.
Something I wanted to correct on Fatuma. If you are independent candidate, if you are independent member of parliament, you are not in opposition. What it means is, at every discussion, at every motion that is brought on the floor of the House, at that point you pick a side where you belong, but you don't say that I'm in opposition.
No. I told you. What does it mean to be in government when your party wins? I didn't have an independent president.
No, smart. He is not in executive.
Yes.
You are a member of legislature.
All right.
When we talk of oversight, we oversight the executive.
But did I not tell him that I chose where I belong? I belong to the right. My brother, I told you where I belong.
Okay, Fatuma,
I belong to the right side.
Fatuma, this is my show. Hang on. All right. Well, the Control of Budget has released this year's 2021-2022 report. In it, there are some fascinating findings that begin to explain the status of the nation and what we as a country consider important. This is how we share our national cake on level of importance. We allocate 500 billion to education and some 447 billion in energy, infrastructure, and ICT. We care so much for something called public administration and international relations that we allocate 358 billion shillings to that function. We also give the judiciary, governance, law and order, altogether some 233 billion shillings. National security is important to us, and with that, we allocate 183 billion, followed by the little matter of health that gets 130 billion. From here, water environment gets another 102 billion, social protection 75 billion, good old and very less important agriculture, some 68 billion, and finally 28 billion for something we call general economics, and gets a whooping 25 billion. Now, it's easy to see what's important in this country. Our priority and state of affairs can be explained in these very simple numbers that tell a very coherent story. International relations, entertaining guests, and looking good outside is far more important for us because we allocate 358 billion shillings, as I told you earlier, knowing its returns are perhaps much better than food security, which in agriculture we give 68 billion Kenya shillings. National security, everyone's ability to have a personal bodyguard, another 83 billion shillings. Over your health, where we give 130 billion. Well, Kenya does not have a tax problem. Kenya does have an expenditure problem. The executive office of the president, as that report tells us, sank 1.4 billion shillings in 12 months on hospitality. That's 4 million every single day. Uru also spent close to 1 billion shillings on something they call local travels. With all due respect, corruption is a budgeting function, and that's why we say politics is a high-stakes game. The fight is control of our missed priorities as a country. With all due respect. Thank you very much to my guests. David Mpisoi, karibu sana. You've done well. Wanami from Bumula, thank you very much. Good to see you again. You've done well.
I thought you were going to give us a minute to comment about.
We will have the time. We will run out of the time. And Fatuma from Migori County, thank you very much. And thank you very much all for coming. Congratulations on making it and getting the nod of the people to represent them. We look up to you to represent us and make all those good laws.
On behalf of my colleagues, thank you so much for having us. We just came straight from Safari Park.
Yes.
In fact, we were almost late.
Okay.
Yeah, but
thank you very
thank
much.
you for having us. I hope.
On behalf of Kenya Kwanza, we say thank you very much.
On behalf of Independent
Yes,
Minds,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Officially opposition.
With all respect, have a lovely night. Thank you, thank you.
This is NTV.